Today, we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing processes in all of biology, the journey every single one of us took to get here. It's an epic story of transformation, growth, and just some truly remarkable biological engineering.
I mean, it all boils down to this one huge question, right? How does something so unbelievably small, just a tiny cluster of cells, eventually develop into a complete thinking, feeling human being? Well, we're about to break that incredible journey down step by step.
All right, here's our roadmap. We'll start with the amazing life support system that makes it all happen. Then we'll follow the path from cell to fetus. After that, we'll cover the big arrival, and finally, we'll look at what happens when the plan needs to change for a safe delivery.
So before this whole journey can really kick off, a supercritical support system has to be built from scratch. And honestly, it's one of the most fascinating temporary organs in the entire human body.
Let me introduce you to the placenta. And get this organ develops from the exact same fertilized egg as the baby. It's kind of wild. It's the only organ our body creates with a built-in expiration date, like a disposable lifeline, engineered for one single 9-month mission.
So what's its job description? Well, the placenta is an absolute multitasking powerhouse. Think of it as the baby's lungs, delivering all the oxygen. It's also the kitchen, serving up all the nutrients. And it's the sanitation department, taking out all the waste. As if that's not enough, it's a hormone factory, basically running the entire pregnancy.
You know, the easiest way to picture it is as a super high-tech filter. It lets all the good stuff, nutrients and oxygen, pass from the parent to the baby, and then lets the waste go back the other way. And all of this happens while keeping their blood supplies totally separate. It's an absolutely brilliant piece of biological design.
Okay, so with that life support system up and running, the main event can finally begin. This transformation is so fast and so complex that scientists break it down into 3 main stages.
Let's take a look at the timeline. Everything kicks off with the germinal stage. That's all about rapid cell division. Then comes the embryonic stage, which is absolutely crucial. It's where all the foundations are laid. And finally, we have the fetal stage, which is all about growth and getting ready for the big day.
Let's zero in on that embryonic stage for a second. This window of time, from week 3 to about week 8, is probably the most critical part of the whole process. It's like a developmental sprint where the basic blueprint of a person is sketched out at an unbelievable speed.
During these few weeks, the central nervous system, the very thing that makes you, starts to form. A heart begins to take shape and actually starts beating. You see the first little buds that will become arms and legs. It is an incredible flurry of creation, which is also why this stage is so very sensitive.
Then, once we hit week 9, things shift. The developing baby is now officially called a fetus. You could say the heavy lifting, the foundational work, is mostly done. From this point on, the main mission is simple: grow, refine, and prepare for life on the outside.
The big change here is the switch from just forming things to making them functional. Organs that were just basic shapes now mature and start doing their jobs. The fetus starts to move, can react to sounds, and grows like crazy, getting bigger and stronger for that final leg of the journey.
And that brings us to the grand finale. After months of quiet, hidden development, it is finally time for the baby to enter the world. This is what we call childbirth, and it is yet another marvel of perfect biological coordination.
So what's the engine driving this whole process? It's something called contractions. These are incredibly powerful rhythmic waves where the uterine muscle tightens up and then relaxes. They're doing 2 main things: opening up the pathway out and providing the force needed to guide the baby through.
The whole thing unfolds in 3 pretty clear stages. First up is labor, which is often the longest part. This is where contractions are working to open the cervix. Stage 2, that's the main event, the delivery of the baby. And finally, stage 3 is the delivery of the placenta. That amazing life support system has now done its job and makes its exit.
Now, while that 3-stage process is the most common path, biology is all about adapting. Sometimes, to make sure everyone stays safe and healthy, both parent and baby, the journey needs to take a little detour.
So what happens if labor isn't moving along? Or maybe the baby is in a bit of a tricky position? Well, modern medicine has a safe and really effective alternative for just these kinds of challenges.
And that alternative is called a cesarean section, or a C-section for short. It's a surgical birth where doctors create a direct path for the baby to be delivered safely. It is absolutely not a failure of the natural process. It's just a different, medically necessary route to get to the exact same happy destination.
And there are plenty of solid medical reasons for one. Maybe the baby is feet first, which we call breech. Sometimes labor just stalls. Or hey, maybe there are twins or triplets in there who need a little extra help making their grand entrance. In these situations and others, a C-section is simply the safest choice for everyone.
So when you really step back and look at the whole picture, from the placenta's temporary life support to the lightning-fast stages of development and the powerful process of labor, whether it's vaginal or cesarean, you see it for what it is. A truly incredible feat of biological teamwork.
And that kind of leaves us with one final thought. When you really think about this entire journey, starting from a tiny speck of cells and ending with a newborn baby, and all those impossibly complex, perfectly timed steps in between, how does that change the way you think about the very beginning of life? It's pretty amazing to reflect on. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.